In this episode, I'm going to share with you what I bring for day trips in the winter. I'm about to do a lot of winter boating and like small rafts and catamarans, and this is the bag of stuff I bring with me. I'm going to do also, if you look in the description, there'll be a link to a blog about where you can buy all these things, exactly what they are, but I wanted to describe them here. First of all, I like to put them all in a watershed Chattooga bag. You can get a little bit bigger bag if you have more stuff. I'm a fan of having it all in one spot. It's just one thing to rig, one thing to unrig. I see a lot of people with like a safety kit, a repair kit, or for just all these bags everywhere. And I like having it all in one spot just for ease of use and just less stuff to do. I put it in and take out, and on the river, you know right where to grab your stuff. And so again, I'm minimizing my stuff. I don't want to have big, heavy bags everywhere, which I see a lot. So let's go through this stuff one at a time. First of all, this is the first aid kit I bring for a day trip. This is a good day trip size. It has all the stuff you would think you would want in a first aid kit. There's Band-Aids, there's Benadryl. I really like this stuff, Tagaderm. It's right here. It's with some Band-Aids. It's a clear dressing to put over if you get a cut. It stays waterproof. I have a spare headlamp. I always bring in this thing, these little Petzl headlamps. And I also really like this pair of Gerber scissors for cutting things, cutting tear aid if you need to do a repair or a number of things. These things are awesome. And just little tiny things like Quick Clot and some sort of, this is a metal mesh I can use for a splint, or you can use a SAM splint. Just pretty normal stuff, but the additions here would be the headlamp, and I have one little thing to start a fire. I'll talk more about this later, and a lighter. So pretty complete first aid kit, stuff that I like, I use, I know that I'm gonna want in case somebody gets hurt. Next is this little winter kit. This is just stuff I bring with me in the winter. So if I'm summer boating, I won't bring this. This is just extra stuff just in case something happens. This is a butane lighter. It's pretty bomber. It'll hopefully get a fire going. These are little fire starters, little things you can like get going and to get a fire going if you need to. If you're out there and somebody gets really cold, getting a fire going is important. I have this stuff in my winter kit. I also have it in my first aid kit. This is just a minimal amount. This is a good amount to help get a fire going. It's really hard to start a fire when it's wet and cold. A couple of emergency blankets. These are just nice in case somebody gets hypothermic, super cold, and another headlamp. If you've ever been caught out overnight or even just like after dark, walking back to the car is almost impossible without a light. So I have two with me in this case, one in my first aid kit and one in this winter kit. It gets dark earlier in the winter, so it's more likely that you're gonna get caught out at night. So I have double headlamps in the winter. Next is just rescue kit. I'm a fan of the 4-3-2-1 system. 4 carabiners, 3 pulleys, 2 prusiks, 1 sling, and I put them together, carabiners, pulley, and prusiks as a team. So I have more than 4-3-2-1. So 1, 2, 3 of these. Again, these are all a carabiner, a pulley, and a prusik together. If somebody needs a pulley, they typically also need a carabiner and a prusik. So I hand them this whole thing. Hey, you go do this. Hey, you go do that. I like to have these as a team. Also webbing. I have 2 sections of webbing with a carabiner at the end. This one's probably 25 feet. This one's 15. Long pieces of webbing are great. If you have to go around a rock, you need a lot of webbing. And so I'm a big fan of having a lot of webbing. This is some nerdy stuff I bring with me that I never use. Some chocks from climbing and ATC for rappelling. This is that fancy Petzl thing, micro traction, which I've never used. I'm not sure I even recommend, but I throw it in there. Maybe someday I'll need these things. I don't think they're really necessary, but I bring them in case we need them. This doesn't take much space. And then a folding saw. You know, on rivers, a lot of times we'll see wood. This can help solve a wood problem. I've used this several times on the river to remove a small piece of wood that's a hazard or that a boat is stuck on. But also when you're driving to put in the winter, a lot of times a tree's falling across the road and this will just cut a tree out real quick. So this could save your day having this with you, just getting to put in or getting from takeout. So it's pretty minimal. I love this specific saw. It's made by a company called Silky. It's Japanese steel. Awesome. And then finally is a repair kit. I'll get 2 more things. Repair kit. So we'll start with duct tape. It's just a million reasons for duct tape. I wouldn't bring a big roll. This is kind of like a half roll. And this is my repair kit. I think having a repair kit's really important because if you're out in the winter, again, you have a limited light. You have limited time. If you have some sort of equipment failure, you're in the cold, it's getting colder because you're standing there fixing that thing. and it's going to make your day go longer, and you could stay out past dark. So I definitely want to have all the repair equipment I would need. I'm just going to go through all this stuff. First of all, I have scissors and tear aid. This is how I'm going to patch a boat. You cannot glue boats in the winter. Like glue for patches only works at higher temperatures. So there's pretty much no point in you bringing your glue and patch material in the winter. It's just not going to be useful. Where tear aid is superior anyway, I bring a lot of tear aid and scissors to cut it. I have scissors here. I also have backup scissors in my first aid kit, as I mentioned earlier. I have a spare pin. I run pins and clips, so I carry a spare pin with me. I like having channel locks, or these are vice grips. I like having vice grips, and I have channel locks. This is like an 8-in-1 screwdriver. It has different size Phillips, different size flatheads. It even like this, if you pull this off, this works in a hose clamp, which you'll need for pins and clips. So that's nice to have an 8-in-1. I like to have a socket wrench with a deep 1/2-inch socket. This is for NRS frames. Even if I don't have an NRS frame, if somebody else does, this will save the day. And so I'm a big fan of having that socket with you ready to go. Valve tool in case you need to tighten the valve or do some of the valve. Leatherman is always nice to have. Let's see what else do I have in here. Another headlamp. I'm fanatical about headlamps. If you've ever been caught in the dark, and overnight, if you get caught overnight, having some light helps the morale. So another headlamp, little tiny vice grips. These are Knipex ones, kind of fancy ones. I can use these two things together for a lot of things, vice grips and channel locks together. And a spare oar lock. Again, even if I'm not running oar locks, I will bring this. It doesn't take that much space. And if somebody breaks an oar lock or loses one, you can save the day. So, and sometimes I run oar lock, so I have it in there anyway for me. And that's it. So you can see like a lot of repair stuff. And it's not like repair like we think of. This is how we repair our rafts. But if you're running an oar frame or a cataraft, you need tools to fix things that can break, especially if a boat flips. Things sometimes break. And so having a lot of tools to fix things is great. Typical safety stuff, solid first aid, and like a little winter kit. Again, I will write a blog about all this stuff, have links to where you can buy these things if you want to buy them individually. If you have things to add, put that in the comments below. Say, hey, Zach, this is something I would also bring. This is something I would suggest. I would love your suggestions on things to add in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks.